Hello, welcome all you beautiful people. Welcome. My name is Amaya Victoria. You are visiting, looking at, listening to Wise Woman Podcast. I'm so glad to be here with you today. I'm very grateful. And the intention of this podcast is to bring to you a myriad of different people, the personalities, the walks of life, and information to help with your spiritual growth, obviously, given who I am, but even more so to bring that into this reality, all that spiritual growth. And hopefully you will gather from these podcasts interest, healing, and information that will move you forward, backward, side by side, up or down. Who knows how this path really works? We're told one thing and it could be 10 billion other things in our lifetime and in this world. So today I have the pleasure and the honor of having a woman with me who has been very profound in my life. For several years ago, I've had for a long time a deep interest in the One Nation Indigenous way of being. That started for me when I was very young. And I imagine it was, I don't know how many years ago, I'll ask Kelly that in a moment. I was watching Facebook and this woman comes up with all these very interesting feathers, I must say. And it kickstarted a connection with her that allowed for me to purchase, to be gifted with the exchange of income, my feather fans that I use in the work that I do today as a healer. They call me a shaman. I don't know what that means. I walk in a good way. I walk with good medicine. I walk as greatly as I can as a good being, as a good human being. And I use these tools. You know, we're really the biggest tool of all. But I use these tools. We're the generators, we're the expressors, we're the cultivators, and the crystals and whatnot. They are our comrades in this walk. So today I'm going to be speaking with Kelly Two Wolves. What a profound and beautiful name. And I know her logo has herself, her face, and with these really beautiful two wolves embracing each other, chin to head. So it's Kelly Two Wolves. And Kelly is a nationally renowned psychic reader, medium, and accomplished artist. And I can attest for that. Using a variety of mediums, every piece of art Kelly creates is a unique labor of love. Some of Kelly's best-known pieces are her handcrafted smudge fans. Kelly is of mixed Native descent, but is not a registered member of any tribe. And at the end there, I will give you Kelly's information to contact her, please. So hello, Kelly. Hello, welcome. Hello.
Thank you. Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been one of those days where it's like, no, not enough time.
Yeah,
There's not enough
yeah.
time, you know? I think
The
that's
day,
part
day
of
has definitely been a little bit chaotic, but
hectic
it's
here
beautiful
today.
out. Hmm.
So I was thinking when we were coming up on for this show, how perhaps part of the theme needs to be everything happens for a reason because of what was going
Okay.
on. But
Yep.
first of all, Kelly, I would like to know because I know you, but I don't know you that well. And for those who will be listening or watching this, who Kelly is and how you came to the name Kelly Two Wolves. You know, who Kelly is as the woman, who Kelly is as the artist, who Kelly is as the creator of sacred tools.
Ah, that's a lot.
It is a
That's
lot. And
that's a
we have
lot.
45 minutes to an hour. So I'm sure we'll be okay.
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 Um, I'm a mixed blood Lakota, Oglala. Um, I was raised on the East Coast, and when I
We're on the
started
East
my
Coast.
journey,
We're,
huh?
we're, we're on the East Coast.
In Connecticut.
Uh-huh. And
I
what
grew
was the
up in
name of the
Connecticut.
mixed tribes?
I'm a mixed blood, which means I'm a Heinz 57 over here and Lakota Oglala over there.
Which I find
for
is not so uncommon anymore amongst the One Nation
Yeah,
people. There has been a lot of
and it's
marrying.
Yeah, and it's it's not uncommon for there's a lot of displaced peoples, and my history goes back to where where the bloodline goes. It wasn't cool to be Indian. It was a dirty little secret. So as that goes along, um so I don't have the papers in order to become a registered native, but I know who I am, and
Yes.
that's our way anyway. It's like uh part of being walking this road. I walk a traditional native path, the red road. So that has greatly influenced a lot of
Would you
my
like to
artwork.
explain for whoever's watching this what that means without giving away anything that's sacred that cannot be spoken about? What that means. 'Cause
in
I know what the red road means, but
in our way, it's not, I'm not a Christian, it's not a religion. Our spiritual belief system is a way of life. So it's not, we don't go to church every Sunday, but we do have our prayer ceremonies, which are would be a nipi ceremonies or sweat lodge ceremonies. We have I follow the old traditional ways of ceremony that we perform, um in in very sacred ways, following the old traditions of, for us, it's humility, uh, um, hospitality, um, generosity, loyalty. These are difficult things in this day and age, apparently, to have to walk in truth and walk in that, stay in that place of integrity. And for me, that's one of my biggest things, is staying in that place of integrity. you know um so that works with my spiritual life, that works with my regular human life, and it works with my artwork and my business as well. So I do the best that I can, being a fallible human. um I came home to these ways, um back in started my journey back in 96, when I put down the bottle and I got sober. So I'm coming up on 25 years of sobriety this May.
congratulations. Yes.
And once I put the bottle down, everything else opened up. And that's when all of the teachings and my helpers and the ways that I could find to come home to my people and to my ways began.
Now,
So
did
that
you did
started.
this happen for you on the East Coast?
It
This
did. It did.
awakening, and
Yep. I
what was it like for
I
you before, as you were coming up? We don't need a whole testimony, but
you mean
some.
before I was sober?
Well, yes, I understand that piece, so we won't get into all those details. But as a child, what was it like for you? Did you see spirit? Were you already connected?
I was again, that's one of those things. So I'm a natural born psychic and medium, so I've seen spirits and things since I was little. Of course, that back in the day was not deemed as a really good thing, so I
Right.
was demonized by the adults, some of the adults around me, and with all of those things, I buried. Of course, I stuffed my visions. I stuffed all of the dreams. I stuffed everything down, and that was part of, this alcohol works good to stuff stuff.
We have a very similar path in that way. Yes.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, I blocked. I did everything that I could to kind of block and stop seeing and saying the things that I saw and stuff, is I made the adults around me very, very uncomfortable. you know
did you
it's
have,
nice.
when you were a child, indigenous influence around you, or was that also repressed around you?
No, that was, I had a little, my from my dad. He was not native, but he was as Indian as you could be.
Wow.
He was very, very naturally connected to the earth
Wow.
and animals and stuff like that. So, I have a great deal of what I do and who I am is because of my dad.
Wow.
Um, he was a gardener and we raised chickens, and we never took anything that we took from the land, we replaced or fixed it better.
Yeah.
So he, in that way, he was very traditional.
Yeah. Really,
And he never
truly,
took,
that is really traditional.
yeah, he never took anything without giving something back. So that was pretty cool, as I look back on that, to see that it's like, wow, he really was a big, huge influence on my life in that way.
So, I know from the traditions, I'm far from having been born into any of it, even though my 23andMe, it does say I have 3% indigenous. So go figure that,
Hey,
you know,
even
but
if it's a drop, you're
drop,
Indian.
I'm going to claim it. Right?
Yeah.
So, but without insulting
Yes.
everyone else, certainly. So what I was going to say, if I can remember what I was going to say, because I got off on that, is when you were speaking about the traditional way of living, you know, we're speaking about earth medicine, we're speaking about the earth,
Right.
really,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And in our way, we never take anything without giving something,
That's what I was
for.
going to ask you, is I was taught
Yeah.
to always be the offering or bring the offering.
Right. And when we're going to gather, say, rock or wood or whatever it is that we're looking to take, herbs, because I do wild crafting as well. So we for my tradition, it is an offering of tobacco, a prayer with an offering of tobacco. And that offering is more an apology than it is a thank you. It's a thank you, and I'm sorry for disturbing you. And I'm sorry for taking part of your plant, your fruit, your disturbing the earth by taking a stone and things like that. So when we make that offering, that prayer, it's not just a thank you, but it is an apology for disturbing the earth in that way.
Yes, I was taught also you don't take anything without asking first.
Don't take anything without asking. And we just had a cute little thing. Um, the other day, we went out to a friend of mine and I went out to gather some stones for our lodge, and as we were grabbing the stones, I'm like, "Oh, you need to get some tobacco." And he goes to get back into his truck, and we got locked out. And he's like, he finally breaks into his truck and gets it open and stuff, and he's like, we have this sacred clown, the which is called the Heyokas. And he says,
Haircuts, yes.
it's the Heyokas playing games. I said, no. I said, because you didn't offer tobacco first, that's why they locked us out.
Little
and
slap on the wrist, right?
little slap, and it's like, it was an it was a minor inconvenience with a great story to go along with that. But little things like that happen all the time. And the plants and fruits and other things, they'll tell you, the trees or the plants will tell you when you've taken enough from an area. Because it's like you can be picking peaches or apples or whatnot, and they're plopping off really nice and easy, and all of a sudden you reach up for that next one, and it resists, and it doesn't come off easy, and that's that tree telling you you've taken enough when you
Interesting.
feel that resistance. And the
Interesting.
same thing is if you're gathering sage or mullein or any of these other things, it's like we never take everything there. We walk past some of the first plants, and we'll ask to see which plants would like to come, and we ask permission for how much we can take, because even if there's this beautiful mad huge mad patch, I might only be able to take a small handful from there, because we want to leave some to seed so that it'll grow back next year, and we want to be able to leave that for other people or other creatures that may need that plant. So we never take everything, we never do like the clear cutting, of an area. We always leave, make sure that there is enough for everyone and enough to survive, to come back next year.
So that's really a very big lesson that we need to learn now. We've needed to
Hmm.
learn from many, many generations. And I mean, we of the colonized minds.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us was the Anglo, even dark skinned, even some of the One Nation people who
Sure.
have forgotten. But it's
Oh
now a
yeah.
community lesson, a collective lesson about the earth has basically said to us, you've taken enough. Now let's
Yes.
stop for a bit.
Well, and that's the thing is enough. What's enough? We have multi-billion, trillion, quad, whatever millionaires that still seek to gain, hoard even more money. How much is enough?
Right.
When you can pay for your next 40 generations to come without having to blink an eye or work, how much is enough? That goes with the land. Is It's what they did, for our food. We have plenty of food if we worked as a tribe and not a me and I. The colonized version, the colonized and or capitalist ideology is me, 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 mine, 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 mine. I'm a happy miser and I'm going to keep it all for myself and gather as much as I can and hoard it. Whereas a tribal process is if one of us has more than we can use, then nobody goes, if one of us goes hungry while others are being fed, then we have failed.
Mhm.
That is a failure on our part to hoard and not to share and not to make sure that everyone is taken care of. That's the tribal way, is us, we, ours, me. It's not me, it's ours, our people, our land, you know our ways. It's not me, mine, I. Those terms were Western colonized,
Colonized mind. Right.
terminologies that our indigenous people never understood.
Mhm.
Because if one is dying because they don't have anything and others have something, we have failed. Everyone survives when we work together as a tribe, as one nation. And this is how we were supposed to, how we as a people will survive in any circumstance if we learn that, instead of the I'm going to carry a gun and shoot you. During all of the crazy that's been of recent days and whatnot. A lot of the people where I live are like, oh, the big idiots. I'm going to carry my gun, I'm going to kill anybody that comes near. It's like, who are you going to kill? You're going to shoot your neighbor? You shoot your neighbor's kid because they're hungry, maybe, if we don't have enough food. You're going to kill your kid, your neighbor's kid, because they're going to maybe come at you, come over to ask to have some food. Is that where your mindset is? you know and we're failing. We are failing horribly. It's like Georgia just passing a law that says, it's illegal to give anybody standing in line to vote water or food. It's like, really? Are you serious? you know
Well, it's really coming to a head. It has to come to the head. There's
our
an
humanity is
infection.
in
We have
question.
to come to head so the humanity has a chance to survive. Without this
Our
coming ahead,
yeah, our humanity is seriously in question at this
well,
point
the
in
human
time.
condition is still intact. The human nature is still intact. It's a human condition that has a difficulty going
Yeah.
on here.
Hmm.
There's so much I want to talk to you about, not just about you and your work, but really
Hmm.
about the people. The people,
Hmm.
not just the tribes, but all the people. Because
Yeah.
years ago, when in some of my channelings, it was said again and again, you must go back to the Redskin people. They will be the ones when this time comes. They didn't identify what it would look like to
Right.
to save everything. When we
Yeah.
first went down and Mother Nature went, oh yes. I mean, we had peacocks down in LA. Buffalo Lane on Catalina Island. I mean, Venice, Italy had dolphins, and
Uh-huh.
we're all screaming,
Yeah.
let's get back to the way it was. And I was saying to people, but we were dying.
We're dying. And
We're
and
dying.
yeah,
The
now we're
earth is
getting
dying.
geez, now we're getting back to normal. How many mass shootings have we had in the last 10 days?
I know. It's
Now
because
that's
the
normal.
sickness of the mind hasn't been tended to. It really has not. And the indigenous, or the ways of your ways, I will just say it that way, or the ways of the clan,
Ways of the people.
the people, basically the people, because they didn't have electricity. I mean, they didn't have antibiotics. The clan, it was a basic need.
Hmm. Yeah.
As it was said by someone yesterday, I was doing another interview. He said the chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Yep.
you know? And right now, we're still vying for position, all of us, even with the vaccinations, we're vying for position. Leave everybody alone. Everybody has a right to have it or not have it. This is not to be a separate issue on itself. So
Right.
I want something came up as you were talking, and it has to do with the people. But I don't want to miss out on you talking about your healing tools and how you got into all this. But I feel
Okay.
so pushed to ask this question, and maybe it'll lead us to that place. You're very
Okay.
open about having gotten sober, very open,
Yep.
which
Absolutely.
really is impressive to me because many people, including myself, don't speak about that much. I feel it's more to my cuff. I hold it because we're not, you're not
That's
supposed to.
my badge, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's
So I'm
that's a
glad you
badge
brought it
for
up
me.
because I would like to talk about uh, the Vale of Tears, the Walk of Tears, and also the decimation that has happened to the people around drugs and alcohol and how they're coming out of it. Because many are coming out of it now
Hmm.
to take flight. The land of the condor and the eagle must become one. I mean, it's just the
Yep.
way that's the call.
Just heard something. They're going to be reintroducing the condor, California condor.
I did not know that. And I've been talking about the condor now for 3 days.
Yep,
So there
they're
you
they're going
go.
to be reintroducing the California condor. I'm assuming it's out there. I didn't catch the whole thing, but I did see a picture of it. It's like, because they are the hugest.
Oh,
They're the
yes.
biggest.
Yes.
And those are the thunderbirds. Those people
Talk
think that
about
the
this.
eagle is
Talk
the
about the
thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds, Condor.
Yep, the condors, but the vultures, those are the thunderbirds. They ride the thermals. Many people believe that it's the eagle that's the thunderbird, and it's not. It's the vultures that are the thunderbirds,
Right.
because
And the
that's
turkey
what they
buzzard
do.
is
They
actually,
ride the thunders.
wild turkey is actually more powerful than the eagle, too.
Oh, we'll see.
We'll see.
I don't know. Our turkeys are pretty stupid. They're very suicidal out here.
No, they get it. They get it. It's like, why stay? Okay, so
They like to sacrifice themselves a lot out here.
yeah, a lot of turkey dinners, unfortunately, or fortunately, just depending on what's going on. But
Yeah.
so let's shall we talk a little bit about and I have no, logically, I just don't know why, because I'd rather talk about other things. There's
Okay.
some form of healing in it, I would imagine, about the addictions amongst the people, their struggle with it, and then how people are coming out of it. I mean, I see the
The
people
on the res
taking force here.
yeah, and on the reservation, and I wasn't raised on the reservation, so anybody that wants to diss me on this, but I do understand, and I suffer from the same addiction and was raised in that same fashion. So um on our reservations, what most people don't understand is our reservations here in South Dakota are still written on the books as POW camps. We are the most impoverished people in the United States. Pine Ridge being, having third world living conditions. Many people don't have running water, electricity, living in basic shanty houses. Most of them still have outhouses, and these are the only forms of plumbing, where water has to be hauled in. Our the average lifespan for a Native American male on Pine Ridge is 45 years old. The average lifespan for a woman is 50 years old. Our children have the highest rate of teen suicide in per capita in the nation, and it has become epidemic. This is due to the poverty, the lack of industry, and other things, and understand that the United States government has kept the people this way. Every time that industry had started to take off on the reservation systems, the feds have come in and decided to put more regulations and more restrictions and more other things to keep the people in in poverty in this state. So with the with what I'm seeing is with social media, the people now have a voice. With what happened up at Standing Rock, they know that we're not alone anymore. Um, that our young people are starting to be listened to, or starting to take pride in who they are, instead of wishing they were some other race, or and hating who they are. um, there's still a long haul to get us into a better place. Um, South Dakota just voted to make marijuana legal, which would be a great product for the reservations. Unfortunately, our state governor doesn't like things like that and is fighting against um, making marijuana legalized, and or an industry out here, because that might actually give the Lakota people a leg up
Yes.
you know
Well, Spirit will have the last say on this one. We know that. As long as it does not harm or affect the people in their
hmm
own addictions. I mean, that's a very fine line to walk. You know,
it's a very fine line, but and the thing is that if they with legalization, we can hopefully we'll be able to pull 90% of our people out of jail,
that's right.
because they, the going joke out here is, there's justice in South Dakota. When you go to the jail system, all you see is just us, and that's that's kind of the truth here.
Hmm.
you know South Dakota's got a lot of growing up to do. I still live in a town called Custer, for God's sake. you know, Might as well be a town in Auschwitz named Hitler. I'm in the Black Hills of South Dakota. This is Paha Sapa, a sacred. This is the sacred land, the center of the universe to my Lakota people.
Yes.
You know,
I would think
and
that towards the end of our time together, if you would do a praise and a prayer for the people, for South Dakota, I would, and for all the people around the world who are of indigenous, of not of
mhm,
the colonized mind, um,
mhm.
that would probably help a lot.
We pray a lot.
I know your
We pray a
prayers, your
lot.
songs, the one other thing I was
Yeah,
thinking as you were talking is that how you pray is you don't bow your head, you look up at the light.
yeah. It's not it's and most of our stuff, and we have sacred songs that we sing during our ceremonies and things
Right.
like that. And most all of our songs are take pity on me. Look at me. I'm humbled. I'm humbling myself. I'm crying for help. Look at me, take pity on me. I'm having difficulties. And that's what the majority of most of our songs and our prayer is. It's not hallelujah and singing praise to a big guy sitting on a throne someplace.
Mhm.
It's to all of creation saying, I'm small. I'm just this tiny little speck of dust in the cosmos, in the whole of the universe, but I'm having difficulties. Come and help me. I
Mm,
understand how small and how great I am at the same time. I'm having difficulties. Come and help me, please.
mhm.
And that's how we roll. It's and people have this idea that we pray to the sun god, and we pray to this. It's like, no, we pray to all of creation. The creator to us is all of creation. The act of creation itself is the creator. Your thought process, the ideas that of just bringing us together here today, is an act of the creator and of creation. And this is all those things in connection. We say mitako yasen, which is all my relations. And all my relations isn't the two-legged. It is the winged ones, the crawlies, the swimmers, the flyers. It's every gnat, every
Right.
creepy crawler, every
Everything.
star in the
Four-legged
sky,
ones, yes. The
everything.
wind, the water.
Because yes, we're the everything, the universe. That's we are all one. We are all related, because we're all made of the same thing. And our people have always known that on a much grander scale. the colonizers came and they had their religion, and it's always joked, and in their religion they had the word, and it was misunderstood. And it's still misunderstood today, and that's kind of our going
Well, the
joke is,
biggest word, even in colonized religion, is I am that I am, which is the
yeah.
largeness of the universe, right? And that gets forgotten. I am the
Hmm.
word, I am that I am. Right?
And so it's all of that,
It's all of it.
when we pray, if we need strength from different nations, and we consider all of our animal relatives different nations. The spider nation, we can might need help in literacy, or help in teasing somebody, or getting tickled out of our own seriousness or something, or coyote medicine, or medicine from the bears. I always love these big guys walking around, I'm a bear. Yeah, yeah, okay, sure you are. You're a bear. That's feminine energy, right? And they look at me like, what? I'm like, yeah, bear
Yeah,
is feminine. It sits in the west. She sits in the west. She meditates, and she digests all of her things, and
I know.
she's the
I know
healer.
that because I was out
Yeah.
in Dakota with my youngest child when she was little, about 4 to 6. We happened to go
Hmm.
into a One Nation person. He was some sort of artist. I forget what he was doing in there, and he connected with Sarah, and he said, "Come
Hmm.
here. You're part of the bear clan." And he put a bear on her hand,
Oh, neat.
so I know it's the female. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, bear medicine is feminine medicine. So I always like these guys with these big bear tattoos, and I start laughing at them. So you meditate a lot? What are you talking about? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
So
and
go ahead.
go
You can
ahead.
follow the flow, and I'm going to start turning you towards how you began to be directed by spirit and by your own self. Obviously, this is your walk towards the art and towards those very sacred. That's the story about when one of my clients called me and said, "What's that woman's name? I'd like to get her a feather fan, just like the one you have." And I came to you and I went, "Don't you dare! That's mine." I got a little territorial for a minute there. It wasn't that aggressive, folks, but that's the way it
Yeah,
felt like to me on this end. So,
yeah. So a long time ago, when I was still back in Connecticut, I had, growing up, we were like middle class or so, and my friends, I had some friends that were well off, much better off. So holiday time and everything, girlfriends would, they had money to be able to buy nice gifts, and I didn't. So I started teaching myself how to make stuff.
yeah.
And that's where I just kind of got creative, and every year I'd find something else to do and stuff, and till I got a job, and then I was able to buy gifts, and they were all mad at me because all of a sudden I you don't love us anymore. I was like, what are you talking about? Well, you didn't. I always look forward to what you made. I'm like, well, you never told me. It's like I have everything you've ever made me. I want some stupid store-bought thing from you. I'm like, okay.
That is really a
So
backhanded compliment, but it is a compliment.
but as kids, you don't know how to express that until
No,
you
you
get
know.
older and stuff. But it was nice. That was like, that always stuck with me. And over the course of the years, I've always turned back to artwork for gifts for holidays and other things like that, because it's just, it was easier. And when I'd started working at a shop out here, that
What led you out to
uh
South Dakota? How did you come to get to South Dakota?
oh, again, that started with getting sober. On my 1 year anniversary, an elder of the Lakota people came and did a healing ceremony. So that was my 1 year anniversary. And directly after that, I found my first sweat lodge, and that was out in Connecticut. It's no longer there, but um, it was in Hamden by
Hampton?
Sleeping Giant.
Oh, okay.
And I started there with he was the native man that was running it was a Mohegan, but he did Lakota lodges,
Oh,
and
really?
he
That's
taught the
interesting.
Lakota way.
Yes.
Yeah. So I started with them and started to learn these things, and did my first vision quest, and then we went to my first Sundance, and from the Sundance, I knew I was going to be leaving Connecticut. I just didn't know where I was going to go, but I knew after the Sundance that I would know where I was going. And Spirit basically told me, you're moving when you find these people, and you'll know where you're going to go. And I'm like, okay. So that's South Dakota. Went home, packed all my stuff. That was in August of 99 is the Sundance. And by October of 99, I was living in Pierre, South Dakota. So that was all nudged and pushed by Spirit. Um, I traveled across halfway across the country, never traveling like that before, come home to a place I'd never been before.
Wow.
And it was quite an interesting, it's
That's
been
quite
quite
that
an
that's a
interest.
great deal of courage and faith, really.
Well, people tell me that, and it's like, no, I was running for my life.
Yeah.
It's like, you won't survive here another year. I'm like, okay. That's all and
And
when you're
that's a good way of saying it, because it's okay to run for your life.
yeah,
Many of us have. I had to run for my life at one point too.
yep,
And I'm getting ready to
yep,
do it again because Spirit's saying, no, you're not going to finish it here.
right.
And I
And
think I'm going back to Pennsylvania, but I still hope.
well, you have to stop here first.
Oh, I do. Then maybe I wind up staying there, you know,
Well, you never know. The
because I've
Black
been
Hills have a
there.
way
I've
of,
been there.
have you? And
I
Black
was
Hills
working
have a
with
way
a
of
healer out
locking
there.
people in.
You
Mhm.
did you ever meet Ellsworth or Ellsworth? I think it was his name. He was part
I
of
don't
a medicine man.
I don't think so. I don't.
Okay.
I may have, but there are those times when I've met a lot of natives that were probably medicine people, but we don't talk about those things. So you'd never know when you're standing next to a very powerful medicine person.
Right. So you're out there in
Yeah,
South Dakota
in the Black
and
Hills.
in the Black Hills.
Hmm.
And there's three things I'm thinking about. Number one, let's start talking about your art and your
Yep.
sacred, and how that is for you. What happens for you, what you do as you're developing these pieces.
This is so funny because every piece is unique to itself, even when I'm repeating a design, kind of. But the feathers, especially, there are no two fans
Yeah, you're
that'll
welcome
ever come
to
out.
show your creations on the screen,
Yeah,
please, so
yeah.
people know what
There's
we're talking about and they can see your work.
this is one of the standard ones. It's the two feathers. It's two matching feathers of primaries, so they're the longest and skinny feathers of the turkey. Um, so there's no two fans will ever be alike, because obviously they're naturally, the feathers themselves are all natural and they're not dyed and whatnot. So these the turkey feather represents the giveaway or generous heart. All of my fans are wrapped in deer skin for love, compassion, and forgiveness.
You show the
All
handle of
of
that? Yes. Thank you.
all of my fans will balance. These fans have all of them have a wooden bead for grounding. They all have an abalone button for the watery nursery of creation for healing and rebirth. And from that point on, oh, and they all have pheasant feathers on them too for that fiery male yang energy. So these ones, the doubled feathered ones, with the larger wooden bead like this, these also have shards of amethyst and rose quartz in the handle for all matters of the heart and for protection. This particular one has chicken fluffs, and chicken is for motherly love, home and hearth, protection. The polka dotted feathers are guinea fowl for the fierce defender of the family home, and the blue feather is parrot for helping with communication. And this one I have a butterfly on for transformation. So each one has its own unique personality, its attitude. They all have their own attitudes. I don't always have say in what I make and how I make it. Lately, I've been doing I'm in the process with this. I've been doing coyote skulls and putting them on little backings. This is just the this as it's getting started.
That's an
it's
actual
not coyote.
coyote
It's an actual coyote,
skull.
natural coyote skull, and I'm
So
painting
funny,
it.
last night as I was having my pizza delivered, it was late. The coyote was calling out here.
And then I'll put it on a small backing and add feathers to it. So I was laughing because it's like I don't have a say in how some of these pieces come out.
Mhm.
So I started doing this one. I didn't like the colors. I wasn't choosing the colors. It wasn't the design that I wanted. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was having a hard time,
If you take
with
your hand
all
away
of
from the
this.
front of it, just show the whole
I
thing.
will just a
Oh,
second
okay.
because that's the giveaway,
Okay.
right? I do not like sports. I am not a sports fan. I
Okay.
have nothing to do with sports. I'm looking at these colors and I'm going, this is about a sports team. I don't know why it's about a sports team. And it's about the Green Bay Packers. This one is going to be a Green Bay Packer coyote skull because that's what it wanted to be. I have no idea. I had to look up what team has green and gold as its logo. So it's going to be Green Bay Packer. So each piece, like I said, takes on a personality of its own. I don't have the say in how they're going to get dressed. A lot of times I want to do something and it falls apart. It won't come together. Things will get stuck, my hands will get covered in glue, whatever. Here's a single feather that I make. This is a little less expensive. And then we have the big handheld.
Oh yeah, the ones that I really love. Yeah.
Yes, the dance fans or ceremonial fans.
The smaller fans are used for smudging and clearing, correct?
All of them are used for smudging and can be used for smudging and clearing. This is, when you're smudging, it depends on what you can. There are variations in price and size and for beginners, midways, and depends on what kind of work you're doing as to
Really,
what
what you're
what you
drawn
might
to,
want it.
really.
Yeah. And what you exactly what speaks to you. So all of them now you can of course, bring that smudge up with any of them. And then so all of them are used for smudging. All of them are used for clearing auric fields when you're doing during those times when it's not appropriate to smoke up the house or smoke up a place where you're going. You can take your fan if you need to dust off that rust, and you can just go over your own body and bring that over that auric field and just clean off your own cell, and get some of that off you, and it'll feel better. You can go around a person and go around them and clean them off if they don't like the smell of smoke or the smudge. You can still use the feathers for feathering and for healing in that way. With these, once you get a hang of it, you can actually go around a person's auric field, and actually you'll start to feel that feather catching on the edge of their auric field. And as you're going over their bodies, all of a sudden you might fall in. You might find a place where that feather just kind of falls into the body. And that's when you know that there's an illness or a weakness or an injury in that spot. So when you find that spot, you just kind of use that feather to pull off whatever is in that spot until you can feel that energy starting to push back again. So you can do this. This is one of the best things that I get to do when I'm out demonstrating my stuff, is taking somebody that knows nothing about smudging, nothing about feathers, nothing about anything, and showing them how they can go over a person's body and find where there's illness or weakness and have them absolutely freak out. It's the best thing ever because
Right.
anybody can learn how to do that.
That's right.
And And that's the thing. And for those that are more energy oriented, it really, my fans work very nicely for that type of healing. If you're doing energy work, if you're doing Reiki, any of that stuff, you might want to just clean them off before you get into that energy field. And the feathers work beautifully for clearing that energy, and basically dusting all the rust and everything off.
So we're going to just explain to people, because most people know, but many seeing this maybe the first time to hear auric field or smudging. And
Hmm.
smudging is the sage and or cedar or a mixture. Some areas, like in Peru, I once was gifted from an elder, brought back from Peru, a whole container of a type of smudge that had all sorts of dried berries in it and actually
Hmm.
some crystal in it. So smudging is used to, it's like a prayer in a way when you smudge, right?
Yep. When will we use the most the typical things that we use in our ceremonies would be sage. Sage is a purification.
Mhm.
Sweetgrass, which calls in the sweetgrass, is the long braids of tall grass, and it has a very sweet smell to it. However, I must put a caveat. If you, because a lot of people like sweetgrass, don't like sage, you cannot, do not, never, 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 never use sweetgrass without following it with sage.
Why?
Sweet, because sweetgrass calls in all the spirits.
Oopsie, yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Calls everybody. Everybody likes the smell of sweetgrass. So when we're making ready for a ceremony, we'll use sweetgrass to call in all the spirits, and then we use the sage to get rid of any of the naughties that we don't want there. I can't tell you how many times I smudge in the house all the time. I'm having so much activity in my house. I don't know why. Well, what are you using? Sweetgrass? Well, of course your house is blowing
Pulling
off.
in your oogly googlies, they gotta go.
Calling, you're calling in the neighbors' kids. You're calling in everybody and all their dumb relatives. So yeah. So if you're gonna use sweetgrass, you must use the sage afterwards. Negative energies and entities cannot stay in the essence of sage. I don't know why. It's a holy herb.
Yeah,
That's why.
it's considered like one of the blessings given to the people.
Right.
Yes.
And so we use that, we smudge off before we go into a lot, before we go into a ceremony. We smudge off before we're making ready to pray. We smudge while we're making prayer ties. We smudge when we're doing pipe. We smudge when we just need to smudge. You can smudge every day. You don't have to have a whole ritual or anything. All you need to do is ball up some sage, throw it in your pot, and smoke up the joint.
Right.
It's as easy as that. It's That's when you see that smoke, when you see that sage, what that sage is burning. One, it puts out kind of like the all points bulletin to the spirit, saying somebody's getting ready to get serious here with some prayers, or they need some serious cleanup work over here. And that sage, when that with that smoke, you can, that's the visual. You can see that's the your prayers in a visual sense being taken to the creator, on that smoke. So when we're praying with an herb like sage, it's worth, it's like hours worth of prayer in another manner.
Hmm.
So
What about the auric field? You spoke about our auric field.
our energy field, our auric field, that cleanses it. It cleanses us. That smudge will help to take off all the dust and the rust and any of the ugly booglies that have, you've walked through somebody else's garbage field and picked up all of their stuff. With that sage, it just kind of washes everything off.
Mhm.
It's amazing how much freer and how much lighter, the house will feel, or you will feel, if you've been in a negative situation. If you've been in, go to Walmart.
Well,
Smudge off before you
yeah,
go,
right. We
smudge
should
off
run
after,
around
you'll
with
be
smudge in
okay.
Walmart, but then again, we might not stay too long then either.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
right.
So anytime that there's all that negativity stuff, it'll help to clear your mind. It'll help to clear your body. It'll help to clear that energy field so that you can actually, get some good energy. And
Mhm.
sage is not just for smudging. Sage is our, like, our first go-to medicine. We use sage tea for healing the internal stuff. Sage actually will help to knit the fabric of the stomach lining back, not for big major bleeds, but for minor bleeds in the gut. It'll actually help stop that. It's great for ulcers and things like that in the body. It is, when we're steeping it, you want to put your face over that steam to help to open up the sinuses. It opens up the respiratory the lungs and the sinuses. It's good for cleaning, for when you're feverish or if you're sick. You can make a mouthwash out of it. If there's an infection anywhere, you can use it as a rinse, use it as a face wash. This is one of our first our one of our biggest and first go-to medicines,
Mhm.
because it's so widely used for so many different things there now. And there's multitude of different types of
Right.
sage. We use our Black Hills sage here. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. It's like a tall silver sage, but it's not the California white.
Yeah.
And that's our
I like the
ceremonial.
California white. That's my preference. I purchased
Hmm.
mine from um, an indigenously or One Nation run
Hmm.
crazycrow.com
Hmm.
online, and they pray over the sage before they send it out.
Yep.
And that's
Yeah,
very
and I
important
and
to
I
me.
harvest my own out here too, and it's long and tall,
Yes, I
hopefully.
remember you sent me some. So we're almost coming to the end of this.
Yep.
And there's, first of all, I want to tell everyone two funny stories with Kelly, maybe three. Um, no, two, actually. I just purchased a very large feather fan. It was on its way, and this other feather fan came up, and I went, "Oh!" I said, I said something to her online about it. She said something back to me, and she said, "Well, I'll give it to you for the same price I gave you the other one." I said, "You're killing me." Okay. I mean, it's like really, it's like I'm not, I was at that time a little limited on my money, but that thing talked to me,
Yeah, yeah, my
really.
fans definitely talk to you.
Yeah, they talked to me. And then when I was looking for the male counterpart, female that she made for me, I asked about a male counterpart feather fan
Yep.
that was already gone. And she had said to me, "But if you trust me, I'll make you a male counterpart." I said, "Great." She said, "Just show me what I made you so I can remember." And I sent her a picture. Unknown to Kelly, I work with selenite. And at that time, I was doing a great deal of ceremony through visualization of the rising of the selenite, which is the heart of our great mother. When she showed me the feather fan on a picture she had placed, I still have it. I keep my feather fans, and I keep it in a cedar box with red cloth to line it because that's the
Atta
sacred
girl.
red road, and that cedar box keeps all those little buggies from eating away at them. Because that
Yep.
sacred cedar is so sacred. And she showed it to me, and in the center of this feather fan was a piece of selenite. So Kelly is the real deal. She's got the goods here, my dear friends. I will like to close with two things. I keep hearing the eagle and the condor now will come together. I keep hearing that in my head. I would like to relate that to your rattles and the development of your rattles. Take that back to the beauty of your people rising out of the dust now of the one nation, because they will have to take us by hand because we're just running around like chickens without a head over here, trying to get back into those old holes of like we're the most important things, and those holes are closed. They're done. Thank you, God or
Well, now
Creator.
and we have Deb Haaland Landon, and we have indigenous voices in the White House.
Right, right,
Amazing.
right.
So we're taking those steps, and we're, slowly but surely we're getting there. And
And I want to remind the young ones of the people that they're very important because they will become the elders in a very short period of time.
this is our seventh generation is amongst us now, and they're the ones
Yes.
that are gonna have to, unfortunately, we'll guide them as best that we can, but they're the ones that are gonna have to pick up the steam and help
Pick up
to
the
heal.
mantle and bring us home. A child shall lead us home.
Yep,
Really.
absolutely. And well, you see more and more children are taking the forefront, you know just like Gretchen, and there's a number of children, young people that are taking up the mantle and the voice for the
I
people.
actually wrote a blog about that somewhere back. I'll give you my site in a minute, in the
Okay.
archives, called The Mantle. And it came out of a discussion with my daughter when she had traveled out here one time. We started talking about something. We both started weeping, and I realized it was the young ones that were going to carry this home. So I wrote
Yeah.
something about that. We can do all the talking, and we're really, the time for talk is done. We need to do ritual and sound and movement and prayer and circles. The rest is
Hmm.
for later, for the storytelling or for the information. Right now, we've talked ourselves out, you know, done. We didn't have to talk here and could just sit here and do it telepathy. Why do it? So let's come on out then, talk a little bit about the rattles, and if you would have a prayer eh, for us in
I'll come up.
English or
So
in your mother language, you know.
I will come up with that in a minute. Let me think
Okay,
on that.
okay.
So um this is one of my rattles. Just like anything else, each one of them looks a little different. They're because they're natural. They're all of their shells are gonna sometimes they're gonna be dinged. Sometimes they're gonna have scratches and other things because they are a natural product. I do not kill my turtles. I get them from a place from down south where I believe they're using them for food. That's what I've been told. So um, they're not just being killed for their shells, so they are natural. So the turtle represents Mother Earth, for the indigenous people, and these rattles bring together the elements of the plants, the minerals, and the animal worlds. The animal, of course, being the turtle. The turtle, like I said, represents Mother Earth, home and hearth. um, my rattles, this particular one is wrapped in buffalo skin. So buffalo is for prayer and abundance. The wood handle, of course, that's for your plant life. And inside is tumbled stone and rose quartz, because rose quartz is the highest vibrational stone there is. And it's for all matters of the heart and love, is what I put into mine. This particular piece has uh, beaver. Beaver is the industrial
Right, that's right.
animal, works teamwork. Family is the builder. Quartz crystal because it's the amplifier. Abalone button for the watery nursery of creation for healing and abundance. So the rattles can be used as for ceremony, for healing work, just for a rattle, however it speaks to you. And each one, like I said, is has its own definitions and different. This one has fox fur on it. No two will ever look exactly the same. Some have feathers on them. If there's something that you have an idea for, I do custom pieces. We can work together. Custom pieces will be more expensive than buying what I already have made because it takes more time out of my day, and then we have to agree on all of those things. So, but the rattles have been used for as long as there's been humans and humans and turtles. The turtle shell rattles have been used in this manner for ceremonial purposes, for healing. The aquatic animals have always been long sought after and long used as healing, like frogs, turtles have always been used in healing modalities,
Yes.
along with that water element. So sometimes you'll get those big shells of like the snappers, and they'll use that as the bowl. Depends on what your tribe, tradition, and or teachings have been. So Yeah, I do all kinds of different tools. I also do talking sticks and dream catchers of various shapes and sizes and kinds.
That's for a whole other
Um,
show, isn't it? There's so
yeah,
much to talk
medicine.
about. Yes. So unfortunately, our time has run short here, or
Okay,
has completed itself. Kelly, is there anything, any prayer, anything you feel comfortable doing?
sure, I
Lead
can
us
do
out, and then I will give
do.
them your information, and we will close for today.
So we'll just go Wankan Tanka Tukashla Unchimaka Miniwachoni Tate Dopu Wopila Pilama Yalok Tunkashla. Tunkashla, I say thank you for my life and for this day. Thank you for bringing us together in this way, for having Amaya and my life touch in various ways in healing and bringing us together as sisters. Thank you for all those people that are watching, and may your lives be blessed and your day be good. Walk in peace and walk in love. Mitako Yasin.
Takuyasu. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kelly. This is Kelly Two Wolves. Her contact information on Facebook is the number 2 Wolves Creations.
Yep.
And you can also go to her website, which is again number 2 Wolves Creations, all one word,
Yep.
.com.
Yep. It's in process, but you can
Yeah.
see it.
Contact her. She's a wonderful healer and intuit also, as I well know. So do listen to this. Take what you need, file the rest. God bless each of you. God bless you all. Wonderful, magnificent people. Have a wonderful, good medicine day. God bless, Godspeed, and all these things. Remember, love is the only answer because love has always been the only question. My name is Amaya Victoria. You can contact me at amaya@amayacenter.com. This is Wise Woman Podcast. And until next time, remember to breathe.